welcome to Peak Moment. I'm Janaea Donaldson and I'm in the town of Bellingham in northern Washington at a rather amazing establishment called Restore. And I'm here with a retail store manager, Nate Moore. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, you bet.
This is, what do you have here? You've got all kinds of materials that come from somewhere else.
Yeah, we sell, well, for the most part, we're here to sell reused building materials. I would call us somewhere between a garage sale, a hardware store, an antique store, and a Lowe's or something like that. We're a combination of all those things.
I feel like I'm at the sort of, in our world, it's the Home Depot or the Lowe's.
Right.
Only a lot broader range of things than they have.
A little more eclectic, I think.
Certainly, certainly. So tell us, what is Restore? How did it come to be here?
We're a project of a larger environmental group called Resources, and we started out as a very small project about 12 years ago. It was initially just a goal to go out to the landfill itself and pull reusable items out of there, and eventually they found that they were pulling so much out of there they had to actually get somewhere to sell that stuff from. Started out as one room, then expanded to two, and then three, and then a warehouse, and eventually we moved locations to this location and just kept expanding, and it's turned into this 12 years later. We're the largest retail store in downtown Bellingham.
Really?
We have about somewhere between 30 and 35,000 square feet of store space.
And who's the employees? Are there volunteers? How does that work? How many folks work here?
We have a big staff. In fact, it keeps getting larger, so I'm not sure exactly how many we have on staff. The store staff is a staff of about 12. They're all paid employees. We also have volunteers, though, because as a nonprofit, we get community service volunteers for anybody who's been in a little bit of trouble with the law can come down here and work off some hours. And then we get just public volunteers also. So we have, on any given day, we probably have about between 5 and 7 or 8 people helping around the store.
It's amazingly well organized for having so much variety of stuff. I'm astounded.
We do a lot with very little people and a lot of stuff, that's for sure. It's an amazing group of people that work here, actually.
Sounds like a kind of community of like-minded folk in a way that
it sure is.
Enjoy working with each other. So can people from your community, obviously they can come and buy materials here. So somebody's doing some pricing on things?
They can come. Our goal is to try to be half price or so of a new item, as much as we can, be around that. Some things don't have a new price. They're either old or so obscure that there's no real price to put on it. We just do that by feel. Sort of the market. The market dictates the price. But anything that's new, that's got a new equivalent, we kind of look that up and price it about half price. We're open to the general public. It's not a membership thing at all. We're just a regular retail store in that regard. And we also take public donations. As a nonprofit, we can give out tax receipts for a donation, or we also have a unique thing where we give in-store credit for a donation. We'll give you 25% of what we think your item is worth to spend in the store on something else.
That's great. So what I see that you're doing is you're taking things that are still useful, that people have, that buildings have, and getting them in a place where folks who need those things can find them and keep them moving.
It's really twofold or multifold in the sense that our goal was to keep reusable items out of the landfill, but on the other hand, we've really helped low-income people.
Yes.
Really creative people. We're a hub for artists too. A lot of the university artists and just a lot of the local artists who have their studios around here use this for a variety of things.
I could imagine it would be great fun for
Yeah.
creative folks to
It
just
is.
go tinkering around in the little.
There's a lot of tinkering, a lot of treasure hunting, that sort of thing.
What? It's a lively place. I'm just watching people go. Your community knows about this. They must.
It's a pretty. It's definitely a part of the Bellingham culture for sure. We get a lot of good community support, which we really need right now. We're running a capital campaign to try to buy our building. We've been renting the whole time we've been in existence, but we're trying to buy a building, and the community has really come out and supported us in that. And yeah, I think we're probably one of the best known organizations in Bellingham.
So just in our last couple, 3 minutes here, can you give me just a sort of a sense from off the top of your head of the kinds, if our viewer were going to do a little tour, what kinds of things would they find here?
Well, you'd see anything from, you know, we have hundreds of doors, you know, interior, exterior doors, anything from a basic closet door to beautiful French doors. You know, lots of dimensional lumber, plywood, cabinets. Cabinetry is a big part of what we sell. Hardware, odds and ends.
Windows.
Lots of windows.
And flashing and plumbing.
Yep. Hardware, plumbing, toilets, sinks.
Lighting fixtures.
Lighting fixtures, both new and antique. We get a lot of, we have a deal with the Seattle Public Schools where we do a lot of salvaging there. We get a lot of neat old cabinetry from schools, from science rooms, things like that. You know, and we try to, we say use building materials, but we're, like I said, we're very eclectic. We try to be open to anything that we think is pretty cool and pretty resellable. We'll try to take it in. We try to stay away from upholstered items. Other than that, we're pretty open.
And I didn't see things like refrigerators. You're not doing
we
household.
We do household items.
Appliances?
We limit our appliances. There's another place in town that does used appliances, two other places, and so we haven't had great success with our appliance program, but we do take them. We do take the occasional refrigerator, ovens.
So do you still take things from the landfill? Or where do you get?
We don't do that anymore. We have public donation. Like I said, people can bring things into us 7 days a week, and then we also have a deconstruction crew, which takes houses apart piece by piece, which gets us a lot of usable materials, opposed to them being, you know, track hoed down or something. They literally take them apart by hand. And we have a salvage crew, which doesn't necessarily take an entire house apart, but they might go in if somebody's doing a remodel. They'll remove the cabinetry, remove the sinks. And then we even have a pickup crew. If something's already removed, they just go and get it from that property.
Great.
So we have a whole variety of ways that we acquire things.
Sounds like
But we don't physically go to the landfill anymore. It's a better business model to sort of have it come to us as much as possible, and or just go get it in a more efficient way.
It's
than
probably
the
a lot
landfill.
safer as well. And you don't have to sort through the trash to find the good tiles.
Right. Yeah.
So how long have you been here doing this?
I've been
yourself?
here 10 years almost.
And what do
now.
you like most about this project?
Well, I love the philosophy behind it. I love the recycling, the reuse. I'm an environmentalist at heart, or sustainability is, you know, the catchphrase these days, and it's a good catchphrase for a good reason. I love that part of it. I love the people I work with, very like-minded, unique, eclectic, probably one of the most overeducated groups of employees. We all have sort of college degrees that we couldn't get a job in our direct field, so we're here. And it's just a great place. So, you know, just a really positive energy around the whole thing.
I can feel it. I can feel it. Thanks. I want to go meet the folks that are part of the deconstruction team. So
Sure. That's
why don't we go do
idea.
that?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, I'm here with Erin Martin, who is the deconstruction manager, and you got to believe that's a title that not everybody is going to be able to claim. What does a deconstruction manager do?
Well, we have a deconstruction program here at the Restore. What the goals of the Restore are to save material from the landfill. So we do that for a variety of ways, like Nate was saying. Now, for the last 3.5 years, we've been offering a deconstruction program, which is unique in the industry. Basically, we are an alternative to demolition.
Okay.
It's kind of a John Henry story, though. We compete against a track hoe to make a building go away.
A track hoe. Now, wait a minute. That's
track hoe is
it's
a
machine
like
that
thousands of tons or thousands of pounds, multi-ton machine with a big bucket, tracks. It's the normal conventional means of demolition. It will take an entire building out, sometimes within an hour, in matchsticks.
Okay. And so you're in contrast to that.
We are. We will send a crew out. We will swarm a building. We'll take all the parts apart. We'll pull the nails. We take the cabinets, the windows, the doors directly back for reuse. We take the lumber. We pull the nails out.
Wow.
We make that available for reuse. One of the main abilities that we have working by hand is to pre-sort materials so what we can't reuse we can recycle.
Oh, okay.
So
all right,
whereas
all right.
option A, conventional demolition, the house is all squished, you know, the roofing material, the carpet, the drywall, all makes it non-recyclable.
Okay.
So if I take that roofing material off, not only do I get the sheeting to take back for reuse, but I can recycle the asphalt roofing shingles.
Really?
I can take the drywall off, and that, you know, needs to get disposed of, but that makes the wood base of the walls recyclable.
Aha.
So, you know, the end result is we're able to reuse 60 to 80% of a building and recycle the remaining debris.
That's phenomenal.
It is. It really is.
Now, how can you do that economically? You got a crew that comes in and does all this hand labor,
Yeah.
careful hand labor and sorting. I mean, there's got to be some business model here that makes that workable.
It is. It's really tough. You know, again, let me just back up towards what the Restore started as a response to this community's need, you know, 12 years ago. And we basically, you know, we'll sell anything we can to save it from the landfill. You know, sometimes we'll even give it away. It's not about for-profit business.
Right.
So we bring that into, you know, it takes a lot of labor, sometimes 3 weeks for a full crew compared to 2 days. So how do we cover those costs?
Yeah.
Like conventional demolition, I charge the homeowner for the service.
Okay.
I
Okay.
save them a bunch of money on their disposal right then and there. I
Ouch.
can put that money into labor.
Uh-huh. Okay. So that savings goes into your labor. Okay.
Because we're a nonprofit organization, there's generally a tax deduction for the homeowner.
Right.
So that's a real incentive. So if my program costs a little more, you know, that can often be an incentive to the homeowner. Secondarily, since we are able to reuse the material, that really can help cover costs.
Of course.
So
Is
when
it-
we first started the program, I tell you, it was like, you know, it was like pulling teeth to try to get the work, to get somebody willing to pay our crew to come in and offer this as a service. And, you know, again, basically, I'm just looking for a break-even approach. If I can cover my costs and my crew, that's great.
And
you
you're
know.
doing the right thing. You're bringing materials and having them continue to be used.
Yeah. So as of late, in the last year and a half, with our effective business model, I've been able to cover our costs and have some material donated to the Restore, so help the mission. So
All right.
I don't know if that answered your question,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it did. I wondered how it gets paid for, and break even seems to be fine with everybody in your organization
Well,
here at
that's-
this point. You're achieving your mission.
yeah, that's to me is what, you know, we're a not-for-profit organization. That means we're mission-driven rather than profit-driven.
Great, great.
Now, mind you, we have to be successful. You know, if we weren't successful, this wouldn't exist for this
That's
community.
for sure.
So
That's for sure. So, is this happening anywhere else that you know of?
it's growing. We got our start from the Portland Rebuilding Center, and we did a tour down there. Now they, in the summer months, they have about 50 people that swarm a house. It's amazing. They just go all over it. They load out material once with a big truck. They have a volunteer base of about 300 people. So it really gave us some big shoes to try to grow into. We have a crew of 6. When we started this program, I was literally by myself, knee-deep in snow, trying to take a house down. So we've really come a long way.
Yeah, I bet you're proud.
You know, it's really, you know, I've been able to show the economics that this is a sustainable program, and that's really why we have the support of our organization and the community.
Yeah, yeah.
When we started, we needed a Sawzall. We'd wait to get one donated. You know, it would break a week
So
later.
you have a bunch of tools
Now
that
we
you
have
must
new
have
tools.
with your crew.
Yeah, and you
Great.
know, the industry also has been growing. You know, there's regional conferences every year. They're coming out with new tools. There's actually a great tool called
For a deconstruction industry.
yes.
I'm
Reuse
interrupting you, but
industry.
this is promising. People say, how do I say this? We're getting new businesses and jobs coming out of this level of. Oh, that's exciting.
It's very, as far as what the Restore does, we provide more work for our people than any other program. You know, so an average deconstruction job might take anywhere from 300 to 400 hours. You know, that's full-time
that's a
living
lot of
wage
work.
jobs.
All
You know,
right.
compared to the alternative, which can be practiced in any situation where just the best items can be stripped out of a house, and that might be 20 hours tops. You know, so really, we really are providing those jobs, and I've been able to keep the crew busy, so that's
That's also a good sign. So your crew of 6 has been busy for a year or 2 or close
Well, we've
thereof?
had the crew of 6 since January.
Okay.
But we've pretty much been working nonstop with variable of anywhere from 2 to 4 people for 3.5 years.
That's excellent. So you're looking at what, 6-7 months here of a full time. I mean,
Of
it's
a full
building.
crew
It's
of 6,
building.
it is building, and we're just gaining momentum. So something I wanted to mention, one of the most exciting tools in the industry is a pneumatic nail remover. You slide it on the pointy of a nail, it's a nail gun, you pull the trigger and the nail goes flying out. And so if you can imagine how that makes it available, we can save plywood, we can save flooring, we can save 2x4s, it just really...
And save time.
Save time, which makes it more economically feasible to do this.
Right.
You know, I think one of the main things is just with costs rising of conventional demolition, landfills, of new materials, it's just becoming more and more viable for programs like this. And I would think that its main success is just simply the Restore being here. You know, just an outlet for large volumes of material really is what makes it possible.
Well, then you're coming around to your whole community, right? You gave me a little phrase about that that I thought was great.
Reality inspires community. And basically, where there is a need, where reality is present, people will get together and fill that need. You know, an example here is vinyl siding. You know, we often don't take it because it's such a thing to handle, but there's a need out there. We take it, we don't make any money off of it, but we find the low-income people that need it. There's a reality, a community, there's a connection. Now, that was maybe not the best example, but there's a situation that wouldn't happen without the reality being present of the community need.
I really like that reality inspires, brings about community. And I think that your model of reusing things that are still valuable, we're going to see more and more and more of that in our culture as as all those costs rise.
For one thing is you just can't get the quality of material nowadays. There's so much character present in the old material.
So right. I noticed over there in the other spot, beautiful, beautiful fir, clear grain fir, wood panel for flooring.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't get that now.
Yeah. And the Restore is a great thing because, you know, again, I track that all back to being not-for-profit. I mean, there's people out there that will go and broker and buy these nice materials, and they'll resell them for huge amounts of money. You can still get them for a reasonable rate at the Restore. I mean, our goal is to save them, see them reused, create more space to bring more stuff. So it really creates a lot of opportunities. You know, I have a house, I live in a land trust, you know, which again is another model of different things, but it was such a great resource to have access to these materials. You know, I have marble countertops from the Opera House in Seattle. And, you know, the sink I pulled out of somebody's house that they didn't like it anymore. It was worth $900. So I would never personally have achieved that without this Restore.
This beats Lowe's and the Home Depot for getting things that have stories, that have character. Thank you for yours. This has been wonderful. Keep up the deconstruction.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're here to stay.
Good. I'm here with Robin Dupre, who's the Executive Director of Resources for Sustainable Communities, the parent organization for the projects we've just seen.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So what is Resources?
Well, Resources is an unusual nonprofit organization. We have been around for almost a quarter of a century now, 25 years, working in our little corner of the bioregion up here. And we do, our mission is to promote sustainable communities through recycling, education, advocacy, and the conservation of natural resources.
Oh, nothing small there. I mean,
yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, cast a big net and get big results.
So what kind of things do you, I mean, with that kind of charter, big charter, what are you doing?
We primarily focus on giving individual citizens the information and tools that they need to act on behalf of the environment and to live more lightly. So what that does is it puts us in contact with a diversity of people in our community. We have a large school program. We talk to about 10,000 kids a year in 3 counties.
Wait a minute, how big, I mean, tell us your region. How many people?
How many people in our region?
If you're doing with 10,000 school children,
yeah, that is a
lot of
3-county region. We operate from Bellingham, which is just short of the Canadian border, down to Seattle.
Wow, big area.
Yeah. We're definitely based and much stronger in our own home county, however.
Okay. So I interrupted.
That's
education.
all right. Yeah, so we do environmental education in the schools, and we focus on waste issues with the students as well as air quality and global climate change.
Wow.
This year we have a new consumerism education program for young people. And then as well, we operate a variety of programs in the community because I'm not ready to give up on the adults. So
Yes.
we, as well, we have an innovative electronics recycling program called Relectronics, where we accept in computers and other electronic materials and part them out. We use all volunteers for that program.
Wow.
And that helps us, our community, to avoid exporting our electronic waste to other countries where it's dealt with very poorly.
Where they probably just burn it and not reuse those materials?
Well, those materials are recycled, but what happens is, for example, they'll melt the plastics off some copper cable, and then the waste will just be dumped into the river, for example. In many communities in China, that's their primary income source, but it's also a terrible travesty that's our environmental legacy to those communities.
We're just dumping it on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Relectronics recycles electronic materials. We also have we like to teach people about waste issues in the community. So we run the county's recycling hotline, where you can call for information about what to do with your various waste items as well. We work with the farm community currently to help them more appropriately deal with their plastic waste, of which it turns out farmers have a lot.
Really?
Hay wrappers and plastic twines and pesticide containers. And a lot of that community, because they haven't been educated about the implications, have been burning those wastes.
Ooh.
So we have an innovative program now in 7 counties in the northwest corner here to work with the farm community to recycle their plastics. But then we also like to teach people how to be active citizens. So we have our North Sound Baykeeper program, and our baykeeper is an advocate for water quality, primarily in the marine waters. And she works on habitat issues, she works on pollution issues, and we have volunteers who are out monitoring construction sites, industrial sites, to make sure that they're not illegally discharging pollutants.
Wow.
And then we also teach people how to read and comment on important public documents like our shoreline master plan or or a pollution permit for a big facility in the community.
So you're doing some watchdog work
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a little bit of everything, because if we're going to move forward in a sustainable manner, we all have to be engaged citizens in addition to living our own lives as lightly as we can.
I'm speechless. That's just amazing, the breadth of what you're doing. How many people do you have on staff? How many people do you have involved with the various programs here?
Well, if you include all of the Restore staff, because of course we have a store in Seattle as well. We have a Restore in Ballard and a field crew, like an Erin out there supporting that store.
The Deconstruction.
And then this store and its crews, and then our education and advocacy staff, we have 42 staff people.
That's impressive.
And then we
That's
have
impressive.
hundreds of volunteers, college student interns, the variety of other community members that are working with us on our various programs.
So where are you going? Where's your vision?
Our vision.
In about 4 minutes.
Oh,
Tell us.
great. Well, I can tell you our vision in
Yes.
4 minutes, because I've been getting good at that lately. Our vision is we're going to move all of our Bellingham operations into one home. So our education and advocacy team will join with our Restore team in what we're calling the Sustainable Living Center.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we're excited.
Nice.
We're going to buy a building. We have a deal to buy a building, and we're currently raising money and arranging our financing. And so imagine the Restore, but a little more accessible. There'll be educational exhibits throughout the store. So when
Nice.
you're in the plumbing section, you can learn about water conservation, and when you're in the lighting section, you can learn about what you can do in your home to reduce your energy usage.
Great.
But
Great.
there'll also be a library focusing on green building and sustainable living. There'll be interpretive gardens focusing on how to garden without chemicals, alternative stormwater management, issues, what you can do in your own yard.
Wow.
And then we'll also have a more active workshop series where we work with people to teach them how to do everything from use those old chalkboards to make beautiful slate kitchen counters to how do you comment on a pollution permit, all in one place.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, we're very excited.
That's a tremendous vision.
And our long-term goal is that we'll see a series of sustainable living centers up and down the I-5 corridor as each community deals not only with its waste, its construction waste, but also with its environmental information needs.
That is, I mean, I'm impressed by the extent of what you are doing. I mean, and be sure to remember the I-5 corridor goes all the way down to the Southern California border, right?
It does.
Don't forget.
It does, and we might restrict ourselves to our own bioregion,
all right.
and then in your bioregion, you can
could do
the same thing.
Thank you.
We were involved in starting the North American Used Building Trade Network.
Used
Building Materials Trade
yeah.
Association, and so we're trying to foster a trade association so that we can see programs like this happening in communities all over.
It seems to me that that will be that's got to be a growing sector.
Mm-hmm. It is, very much so.
And that you're tying, I love that you're tying together that returning the materials back into the community all the time.
Yeah, and honoring the wood. You know, if you think about a beautiful
true.
old Douglas fir that grew for 500 years, and then we cut it down and we put it in a school. Now, 80 years later, the school's getting remodeled, and we're going to throw that wood away? So instead, how about we honor that wood and honor those trees and keep them alive by refinishing them and using them again? That is,
well, that's the ethic behind it. So in our last minute, what do you love most about doing what you're doing?
I love the support that our community hands over. Moral support, financial support. People think what we do is cool, and what we do is cool because what we're doing is we're trying to model change, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. And this is just one picture, and I love that we can empower people to think about what's their picture for how they might model change. And so for me, it's a wonderful combination of walking our talk and thinking outside the box and helping people create new models for their own communities and their own lives.
More power to you.
Thanks.
More power to you. And I can imagine that people are just, that you've got seed projects that have happened because of your being here, things that you didn't even know, the ripples are extending.
Yeah, yeah.
May they ripple for a long time, and I'm looking forward to seeing your Sustainable Living Center when it's together.
This fall.
All right.
All right, thank you.
You're watching Peak Moment, community responses for a changing energy future. I'm Janaea Donaldson. Join us next time.